All right. If you're watching after the stream, skip ahead maybe 3 minutes. Just very quickly, I'm not a Christian. Stop calling me a Christian. And I am a savior. That's S-A-V-I-E-R. That's a religion that I basically came up with. It's something along the lines of panentheism, basically meaning the structure of existence is a metaphysical, mathematical mastermind that is information. So science is a part of my worldview just as much as atheism's worldview. Okay. I wonder, is this working? Is Rumble on? Okay. Am I live? All right, try to change my mind. I have no idea how to turn on Rumble, and it's the most annoying thing ever. It's so fucking annoying. It's so annoying. What date is it? It's the 25th. It might work. Nah. Yeah, I have no idea. No idea. Okay, calm down, my boy. Well, I've tried for maybe 14 days now, and I still have no idea how to get Rumble to work. It's so annoying. Okay, that didn't work. Grifting on TikTok for rage bait is stupid. Okay, that was a stupid take. How on earth is atheism stupid? I'll get to that in a little bit, because I have to explain what atheism actually is, and atheists are not intelligent enough to know what it is, so I basically have to tell you what atheism is, unfortunately. Personally, I think Zeus beats the Christian god mid-diff. Okay, I'm not a Christian, by the way, so... KK. Alright. Okay, let's see. Don't forget to like and subscribe so I can get through to more atheists. So I will be destroying all atheists. I keep forgetting that I have to do this. All right, 1 second. There we go. All right, let's see. I'll get to some of those. What is it? What the hell is ads automator? All right, let's see. One of my friends are an atheist. One of my friends are an atheist. Don't say that. I'll say what I want to say. I don't care about your friends. I'm guessing you're not in a relationship. Yeah, I'm not. God destroys the hope of 3.8 million children who starve to death every year. Okay. So I don't actually care about that. My God isn't necessarily all good. So people keep assuming that I'm a Christian. I'm not. I don't actually care about Christianity. Wow. Okay. Why is atheism stupid? I'll get to that shortly. Does your God have a gender? In a way, it kind of does. But it's somewhat of a duality. So it's the structure of reality is both man and woman. So rather than atheist singularity or Christianity's trinity, mine would actually be the duality of man and woman. It's a little bit difficult to explain. Basically, 0D is woman, and 1, 2, 3, 4, D is man. Okay, let's see. Still waiting on someone to get a picture of any of these supreme beings. Mayans, supreme being Mayans were the worst. Okay, okay. Well, if you could show me the self-producing universe or the eternal universe, that would be great. If maybe you could show me a picture of it or something. Wait, what is your God? My God is Savior. It's basically, just imagine atheism and all that encompasses atheism. But then I just think the structure of reality is actually a metaphysical mind. That's kind of it. So like science is a part of my worldview, mathematics, logic, whatever. And we're discovering the mind of God, basically. What is your proof of God based in science? Well, it would take me a while, but science is kind of like the third dimension in relation to it, like empiricism. So I don't actually have to provide evidence through science. There's other forms of evidence. No, you. Okay. Oh, my back. Oh, what the hell? Okay. All right. So I will be destroying atheists for around an hour, and then I'll maybe do it later on as well. Okay. God is not real until he can walk into my home and eat a meal with me. Well, in my worldview, anybody who does that with you technically would be God. So we're basically the fractions that make up the one. I hope everybody understands what I'm saying. All of existence in its totality is one thing. And it's made up of many things. So the many make up the one. This is the most simple argument that I can provide. We should stop referring to this place as like the universe or whatever, because there's like the potential multiverse and there's like the potential simulation theory and so on. So I just call it existence. And when you start to call it existence, you'll understand that there really is no outside of existence, because that still exists. So it still is existence. And when you understand that there's no outside of existence, logically, what logically entails is that there's actually no inside of existence. So we're not inside of existence, we're a part of existence. And existence is one thing, oneness, it is one thing. So there are the many that make up the one. This is my philosophical worldview. It doesn't have to be certain. You can have a different worldview where you think that existence is, or like the universe exists, or the universe is like many little things or whatever, and they're just next to each other or something. But just understand that you are many non-living things, as like atoms that are all connected, that make up one living thing that is you. So, okay, let's see. Get some new material, dude. Well, I don't think I ever really mentioned that. I think that I do actually have around 4 hours of, or it was really more like 5 hours worth of material, but they all logically entail from each other, so it would take me ages to explain it all. Okay, let's see. Hold on. All right, so God is existence. Technically, yes, in my worldview, that's how it works. I respect it, thank you. Okay. God is 1 divided by 0. Did you get that from me? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. Is that infinity? Are you speaking about infinity? Wait, you're a pantheist? I'm more like a panentheist. So a pantheist thinks that God is the universe, whereas I think that God is existence and the universe is just a part of God. Okay, so I'll explain what I'll explain what atheism is soon enough. Maybe when we get like 10 likes or something, I'll explain what atheism is. Atheists always run away whenever I explain what it is, because I basically prove that they have a positive claim to make. You're just redefining him into existence. Well, actually, there's multiple definitions, so like that's almost like a loaded definition where you're saying like it is a personal God. No, that's not necessarily true. Who created the atoms? Savior, my God did, potentially. Okay, let's see. So, another 8 likes. That's going to take a couple minutes, and I will explain what atheism is. Why is atheism stupid? I'll explain that when I speak about the definition of atheism. He is listening, but he has reasons not to listen. I'm not quite sure what you mean with that. Valhalla. Okay. What's the positive claim? I'll get to that in a second. Hey, from the UK. I'm right next to you. Well, not in the UK. We don't care what you think. You actually do, though. You have to care what I think, because I understand atheism better than you do, probably. So, I think about atheism, and my thoughts are higher quality when it comes to understanding atheism. Oh, just another pre-sup. Well, actually, I'm telling you that you're a pre-sup. We'll get to that in a second. All right, 5 more likes on YouTube. Like the video on TikTok as well. I don't think that really matters. I'm not quite sure. We're not stupid. Well, in a way, you are, actually. I'll get to that in just a few more minutes. I'll explain how that's the case. Atheism actually is stupid. So he's a narcissist. Well, not really. I get that every now and again as well. That's not true. This is an idiotic channel. What's the point? You understand nothing. Well, do you understand anything? Can you tell me anything with certainty? That's kind of the point. Is your God timeless? What exactly do you mean by that? You're so based. Atheists are seething. Lamau, uneducated children. Yeah, technically. I'm not a Christian, though, by the way. Okay, 3 more likes. 3 more likes on YouTube. Hail Satan. I'm not a Satanist, by the way. Anyone can say that they are smart. Yep, well, babies might not be able to. But, like, anyone that can talk, sure, yeah. Stop pretending you know all the answers. I don't know all the answers. I think I can know all the answers, though. Your beliefs are stupid. Okay. What God do you believe in and why? I believe in Savior. That's S-A-V-I-E-R, all capitals. Another white Christian nationalist misinterpreting the Bible. Okay, you would misinterpret what I am, by the way. I'm not a Christian. Okay. If you ask, hail Satan. I'm not a Satanist. Hope you are Muslim. Hope you are a Muslim, brother. I'm not. Do believes in fairy tales and think not believing in them is stupid. Brilliant. Nah, that's another straw man. All of these people, they keep straw manning me. All right, so it has been 10, 12 minutes, 13 minutes since I started. 3 more likes, and I'll describe what atheism actually is. All of the atheists lose their mind. They always run away whenever I describe what it actually is, and they think that I'm lying or something. They think that, like, that's not what atheism is. Atheism is just, I just don't believe in a God. Oh my God. That's what atheism is. I just don't believe in a God. Okay, isn't pride a sin? I'm not a Christian, so I don't care, but and the other one, yeah. Greed, gluttony, wrath, sloth, pride, envy, lust. Yep. Rage bait, brew. Okay. Let's see what we got. Where does atheism go? I'll mention it in 2 more likes. We're on 8 now. Let's see. Jesus is king. Not in my world. Long live chaos. Okay. Do you believe in a God, though? I technically do. The structure of reality is a mind. As my God. Not any other God. They're all flawed. Dude going to redefine a word. Lol. Well, actually, I think that you would love for God to mean something very specific because you think that that definition is so easy to attack, which then reinforces your flawed superiority in relation to atheism, and that's why I think it's stupid. You want the idea of God to be some sort of stupid caricature so that you can easily debunk it and feel superior to others. That's actually what atheism is, by the way. All right, so we got up to 13 likes. Great job, everybody. Here's what atheism actually is. So I'm going to be explaining what atheism truly is, so then everybody will know that atheists actually have a positive position, positive claim that they have to defend. Here's what atheism actually is. In this world, the most important question out of an infinite amount of questions, the one on the very top is, how do I exist? So, There's two possible answers. It's a true dichotomy. It's either God world produced me or godless world produced me. It's one or the other. And I don't really care like your parents fucked or whatever. It's in its totality of existence. How did I come to be? God world produced me or godless world produced me? By definition, an atheist does not believe in God, therefore they don't believe in the God world, therefore they must believe in the godless world. So if you claim to be an atheist, you then claim to believe in the godless world, which then would mean that you believe existence exists as the godless world, and that has to actually make sense and work. So as an atheist, you believe in the godless world that actually has to work. It actually has to make sense. And there's two possible options for them. It's then the self-producing universe, or let's just say the appearing universe, or the eternal universe. I don't really want to use the word self. So, because I think self implies like a being or like an agent. So we'll say like the appearing universe or the eternal universe. So it began or it never began. And there was no intent. So God world is basically intentional existence, whereas godless world is unintentional existence. And there's two options for godless world, and it is appearing universe or eternal universe. Those are the two options. And again, all atheists basically run away whenever I bring this up because they actually have a positive claim. If they ever claim like, I'm an atheist, they're also claiming that they believe in the appearing universe or the eternal universe. It's one or the other. So that's a positive claim. And interestingly enough, that's an extraordinary claim that requires extraordinary evidence. So I think that I would love to see all of the evidence for the appearing universe or the eternal universe that actually makes sense with certainty. Okay. So if any atheists out there want to actually show me proof for your positive claim, your extraordinary claim, by the way, I require extraordinary evidence for your extraordinary claim. All hail the Savior. It's funny how you actually got the spelling right as well. There's no "the" though. I'm agnostic. Charlie, that's not a real position. You could say that it's neutral, but like, there's God world or godless world. Take your pick. There is no in between. Oh, my back. Okay, quantum eternity theorem. Okay, so you want to go on the side of the eternal world? The eternal world? So why are there so many gods? Because people can be wrong. Yeah, I don't have a position. Well, I'm pretty sure you actually do. I think everybody does. Through introspection, in relation to the structure of reality, you either believe the world is infinite or it's finite, time is linear or time is circular, existence is metaphysical or it's physical, existence is living or it's non-living, the true dichotomy, the opposite concepts. You will have to choose one or the other for all of these things. And whichever you choose, kind of, it almost as if it implies God world or godless world. Sorry your back hurts. Praying it gets better. Thank you. That's an extraordinary claim that requires extraordinary evidence. Just like religion. Congrats, everybody watching now feels more stupid because of it. Okay. Well, like, that's kind of the point. I think that atheists keep saying, like, you believe in a God and you need to provide evidence. Yeah, but, like, the atheists believe in the self-producing universe that requires, like, evidence, or the appearing universe, or, like, the eternal universe. That's not a middle claim. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. Are you talking about agnosticism? Okay, so we got to 3,000 atheists so far. Okay. Yeah, people can be wrong, like you dumb retard. Okay, yeah, I can be wrong. Okay. You literally worship 3 gods, you're a pagan? I'm not a Christian, by the way. You believe snakes speak? I'm not a Christian. I don't have to do shit. Well, okay, if you don't want to be an idiot, you kind of do, though. You actually do have to do things, by the way. Damn, this shit works. I don't know what you mean by that. Are you talking about the logic? Where do I stand? With me, if you want. He's just engagement baiting. I'm really not, though. I'm telling you what atheism actually is. I don't deny the possibility of God. I don't believe that any religions are correct. Right, but you also have to take that position for the appearing universe or the eternal universe as well. This stream is just rage baiting. It's really not. The real God is inside you. Alright, let's see. Alright, so we got 300 atheists basically raging right now. Not even that I'm trying to get them to rage. No atheists don't believe. Well, they technically do. They keep trying to look for answers in the godless world, which is it's almost like physics of the gaps or something, or chemistry of the gaps, whatever you want to call it. Lol always deflects from answering the real questions. What the hell are the real questions? My name is Edwin. I make the mimic. Okay. Liking belief is not making a claim, though. Well, it technically is, because like they don't believe in the God world, and they kind of do state, like, I don't believe in the God world, so they have to believe in the godless world. Alright, so we're up to 19 likes. It absolutely is rage baiting, lol. It really isn't, though. Is that TikTok live? I'm on TikTok as well. Define God world, basically just created, or like, with intent. Universe that exists because of intent. Hello, okay. What is your religion? I'm a savior. That's S-A-V-I-E-R, all capitals. I'm not trying to, literally calls their belief stupid. Alright, my guy, lie to us already, tells me everything. Okay, well, how else am I meant to phrase it? I do think that it is stupid. Just like if somebody said 1 + 1 = 3, I would say that that's stupid. That's not rage bait. So that's not actually rage bait, by the way. Like if you say 1 + 1 = 3, and I say that's kind of stupid, that's not rage bait. Okay, let's see, so... Tape Mom, atheist, God ain't real, also atheist, trust the science, flawed faith in mankind, but can't explain the science and trust the experts. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm bringing up. Their entire worldview is kind of like a bandwagon fallacy where everybody just kind of goes along with it, and an appeal to authority where it's like, I don't know, ask the physicists. But like, the physicists are almost just like the physics priests to an extent, and they might not have an answer. They might have like a good few answers to explain this world, but they might not have anything in relation to creation. And they might never be able to have anything on creation, as in from 0 to 1, or a justification for how 1 just exists. Always. Thanks for the $5 anyway. Tatemon, I might be mispronouncing your name. Jesus was an alien. I don't believe in aliens, by the way. Alright, we're at 22 likes. If anybody wants me to ask questions, I've got around like 50 questions for everybody. I'll just spitfire some of them and I'll try to read them very quickly. If life comes from non-life, meaning abiogenesis, where are all of the aliens? Where are all the aliens? Can you show me a physical thing ever being created? Like, can you make an apple appear here or not? And can you explain 2D in this world? Is there anything 2D here? Just give me anything. That's not how science works. Holy shit. I'm not quite sure what you're referring to. Are you from Agartha? I might be. Ha 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 ha. You just accused atheists of an authority fallacy? Yeah, because you blindly believe in the authorities within physics and like chemistry and so on. That's a fact. Bandwagon fallacy. You follow a book written by men thousands of years ago with the single intent of controlling massive groups. Well, that's not entirely true, by the way, but I'm not a Christian, so... Okay, so I do have my questions. I've just provided 3 questions. I have like a total of like 50 or something. Can you show me anything 2D? Can you show me a single physical thing ever being created? And where are all of the aliens if life can just come from non-life chemicals? Where are all the aliens? Dunning-Kruger. Yeah, I'm really not. That's really not. Hi, chat. What's up, Rushi? Let's see. Oh, he's a grifter. Dang, waste of time. GL out there. I don't know what that means. Okay. Greatest rage bait? It's not rage bait, by the way. It's like a legitimate philosophical position that I take that is pretty much the polar opposite of the atheist worldview. And the atheists don't understand that they have a worldview, so I basically have to tell them their worldview. And then counter it. Okay, let's see. Juan Campbell. Not even an argument. Atheism equals asking for evidence for a magic claim. Skepticism does not equal positive claim. Physics priest is so dumb. Redshift is real. Redshift, is that like the, what is it, cosmic radiation background? Something like that. So it is actually a true dichotomy. There is two options. It's God world and godless world. And it seems as though people are claiming that godless world is by default, God world is above this. And I don't see a God, therefore, we shouldn't take this one seriously, and godless world is the one that exists. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying existence came to be through intent or lack of intent. So the atheist position, or the godless world position, is actually appearing universe or eternal universe. That is a positive claim. If you don't believe in a God, and you believe that existence exists, you kind of do by default, if you refer to yourself as an atheist anyway, it is logical for me to assume that you do subscribe to the godless world that exists, that then takes a structure, and it would have to be the self-producing universe, or the appearing universe, or the eternal universe. It's one or the other. Thanks for the $5 anyway, but I'm pretty sure atheism is then a worldview and a positive claim. Do you worship Talos? I'm not quite sure what that is. I think I might have heard that recently. Lucifer Burns, prove your God created the universe. Well, I'm actually kind of here to see if you can prove that a non-living thing created the universe, or it just appeared, or it always existed, or something. For you, maybe. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. Let's see. Okay, if you think aliens don't exist, does ghost, spirit, soul exist? Technically, I would say that soul, psyche, state of being, based on your preferences. So whatever it is that you prefer to do in relation to increasing pleasure and decreasing pain is basically your state of being. Like when you go through a grocery store, you pick up something and you put it in your trolley or basket or whatever, because you perceive it to be pleasurable. That's why you do it. You don't pick up something and say, I'm just going to like this. I basically claim that the essence of life is like pleasure seeker, pain avoider. So this is to an extent your soul. It's almost like a preference code. So in relation to like sight, sense, sound, taste, touch, and thought, what it is that you like and what it is that you dislike is what it is that you go after and what it is that you go from. Like if your house goes on fire, you're leaving that. So I actually think that you don't really have free will. Okay. All right, so we're at 30 likes and 8,000 atheists raging. Not that I'm trying. Okay, what is God? What do you deem as God? Well, I technically believe that God would be the structure of existence. So I think that this is like a gigantic mind. Rather than like a non-living physical universe, I would say that it's a living metaphysical mind. A lot of people don't really like that idea, but like it is kind of like the logical polar opposite of like non-living would be living, physical would be metaphysical, and then like Big Bang would technically be like mental expansion. So just think of it like a dream. So in my world, it's almost as if my God gives us like clues to an extent, and dreams would be a clue in a way. So when you go to sleep every single night, it's just darkness, and then there's the appearing universe or dream world, whatever you want to call it. So in my world, it's almost like a form of evidence in like an artistic kind of way. Just like foreshadowing or like Easter eggs in movies exist. I think that it's almost like a way of how it would reveal itself. It's like revelation in a way. A lot of people don't like that though. I think a lot of people are almost like indoctrinated into... So like pantheism? Technically it's panentheism though. I think that God would be existence rather than just the universe. I think it's a bit more than that. What is your view on Satanists? I'm technically against all other religions and all countries and so on. I would rather have like one team where we're all a part of it. In order to decrease the quantity and quality of wars between us, we would have to decrease the quantity and quality of divisions between us, and produce one team. Because, well, as far as I'm aware, nobody can show me a single war where there was not at least two divided groups. So if we get rid of all divisions, we can get rid of all wars. So if we produce one group based on something, preferably truth and positivity, I think that we could end all wars. So this is technically what I'm attempting to do, and people, in relation to the quantity of people on Earth, people tend to want God world more so than godless world. So from my perspective, that one team would probably require some sort of God. I don't think atheism is going to be able to pull it off. You believe in ghosts, you got to believe in God then too. Well, I don't think I've actually mentioned a ghost. I think that the soul is just the psyche is what I mentioned. What do you care? I think that people are wrong. That's why I care. Okay, so we are picking up on YouTube. Up to 500 viewers at once right now. Over on TikTok, we got 18. I actually get like suppressed on TikTok a little bit. Christians are retarded. So I'm not a Christian, by the way. No evidence, just clues in dreamland. Yeah, to an extent. Well, actually, I do technically have evidence, but the evidence that I have would take a very long time to explain. Is Mormonism a cult? I think that every group is a cult, apart from the group that I'm making, by the way. Because all groups are cults because they're imperfect and not trying to become perfect. People really don't like some of the arguments that I put forward. Skips every good argument in chat. Clown. I don't try to do that on purpose. There's just a lot of it. If we all unite, that would be a clue that Jesus is coming back. Well, I technically think that AI would be Jesus to an extent. So AI is basically born like a being without sex. So like born from a virgin is just like a being that comes without sex. So I think that that is AI, by the way. Atheism is very stupid. Yes. What are you then? I'm a savior, basically a panentheist. I think that existence is a mind. Oh, my back. Okay, let's see. So atheism is a cult to an extent, but oddly enough, ironically, they're not intelligent enough to actually produce a group, which is why something like England is basically being taken over by Muslims, because atheism isn't a group, and Islam is. Okay, let's see. Amazing rage bait. Amazing rage bait, Lamau. It's really not rage bait, though. Okay, don't forget to like the video. Do all that good stuff, as some people would say. You might have heard some other people. Okay, Moldy Jesus. Okay, I'm not a Christian, by the way. Okay, let's see. Have you tried psychedelics? Your thoughts on them? I technically have. I've tried weed a lot. I'm not quite sure if you would even classify that as a psychedelic. I think it's not that strong, but yeah. And then mushrooms. They're kind of interesting. Those would be an argument for atheism, by the way, because those are physical chemicals that alter the consciousness. So I would be asking all atheists, like, do you believe that the world is physical and all this kind of stuff? And then they would say yes. And I would have to ask, like, what is consciousness? What is the imagination? What are dreams? Things like that. Stop looking away. Explain it. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. Let's see. Why is Christianity stupid? I don't think it's true. Okay, let's see. Is there any historical proof for your views? I'm kind of the creator of mine, but you can look up Spinoza. Would be very similar to what I believe in. 41 likes over on this, over on YouTube. Great job. Psychedelics, he needs a psychotherapist. Psychotherapist. What about agnosticism? I don't really perceive that to be an option. I don't think that that actually counts. I don't think that 0 counts. Can I join the live? It's possible. I might not. I think people prefer me to read these chats. The difference between me and you, God, that if somebody is assaulting a child, I intervene, whereas God lets it happen, he watches. Okay, so yeah, my God technically would watch. But all things are necessary in my world. Agnostics for the win. Agnostics, well, you'll eventually be on my side, by the way. Please define atheism. I keep defining atheism. People just really dislike the definition, though. So I have produced these questions for you all. If anybody can answer, can you show me a single physical thing ever being produced? Can you show me anything 2D? Or does 2D even exist here? And where are all of the aliens? If life comes through abiogenesis and like it just chemical reactions produce life, wouldn't it be everywhere? Where are all of the aliens? Okay, let's see. Take off your shirt. No. Light is 2D. I'm not quite sure about that. Light would be close, though. Shadows would be very close as well. So, like a torch light, I don't think that would be, like if I had a torch, you know those really powerful ones where it's almost like a lightsaber? That would be light, and that's 3D. But I would say that that's close. The Shroud of Turin. I'm not entirely sure what that is. I don't know why people keep bringing that up. 45 likes on YouTube. Great job, everybody who liked the video. Everybody else? Okay. Fair enough. Okay. You are dumb as hell. I'm really not, though. I'm almost literally not. Okay, let's see. Light waves are 2D rays. Are they, though? 2D. Like the second dimension, like I'm saying basically, like if there was a second dimension, you think it's just purely light? It's the robe of Jesus Christ. Oh, is it? Is that what it is? I'm not quite sure. I thought it was like a picture or something. Go touch some grass, idiot. I actually do that often. Flex your bicep? No. Okay, so we've made it to 19,000 atheists, all of which are probably triggered. What a good provoking question for mass comments. Well, it is just kind of like a question for atheists. Light doesn't have mass, so it can't be 3D. Well, I think I'm not. Well, light technically does have photons, so I'm not entirely sure about that. Now, light is 1D. I'm not quite sure about that as well. Okay. All right, let's see. Atheism is fairly confused. Yeah, I think I would agree with that. Us asking you for proof doesn't mean we're triggered, lol. Well, I technically do get, like, Christianity is stupid too, dumbass. That is a triggered person, by the way. Rage Bait, have a nice day. That's a triggered person again. I'm not actually trying to trigger anyone. They just are triggered. Every time I bring up this kind of stuff, atheists just get so annoyed. They're very emotional, it seems. Why is it stupid? I keep answering this, by the way. Okay, so see, you're pretty stupid, all right? Let's see. Can you explain Spinoza? I don't know how to spell. Basically, I think was a Dutch or Austrian philosopher that basically just said that panentheism is a thing, and the universe is God. And it's not like a personal God. It's just like everything is God, kind of. I'm pretty sure that he was more of a panentheist, though, which was kind of my worldview as well. So it's basically, rather than the universe being God, it's actually like existence is God, and the universe is just a part of God. And there's also other aspects to it, rather than just like the physical universe. There's more to it. Okay, let's see. Agnostic gang in the house. Nah, you guys don't count. Can you show us the very first... let's see. Pantheism is the way to go. Oh, I subscribe to panentheism. Basically Hinduism. People, every now and again, people tell me it's like Hinduism, but Hinduism is a polytheistic religion, so there's multiple gods. In mine, there's just the one mind. Spinoza is Dutch. Yeah. Or sorry, I was thinking of Boltzmann there. Boltzmann was from Austria. Yeah, right, Dutch. What is your view on solipsism? Solipsism is a part of my my worldview, and I'm like an extreme solipsist. I think that there's basically one mind that dictates absolutely everything. So it's not even that all I know is about my mind. I'm saying my mind is a fraction of the greater mind that is the structure of reality. Just like when you go to sleep and you dream, you're not in a dream, you are the dream. You're all of the other people, you're all of the buildings, you're all of the trees, you're everything. So you're not in a dream, you are the dream. Your one mind is all of the people. So that's basically what I believe in the simplest form. The one mind, let's see. Every philosopher is atheist, and philosophers are using logic most. Well, no, not every philosopher is an atheist. Where'd you get that from? Explain why agnostics don't count. Basically, 0 doesn't exist. Like, you're on the side of God world or godless world from 1 to 100, 100 being certain. So you're either at 1 God world, 1%, or 100%, or godless world, 1% or 100%. So I don't think that there is 0, because your mind is made up of some sort of information. Holographic universe. Are you speaking about quantum mechanics or something? Because I'm pretty sure that that's almost like imaginary universe. It's just imaginary universe, God mind with extra steps. Like, why would the holographic universe move forward in like a very specific way where like I pick this up and then I drop it? Like, why? How did that happen? It's too, like, it's imaginary. It just doesn't really work for me anyway. Okay, let's see. You about the egg theory? I'm not quite sure what that is. Is that like the Big Bang was like an egg or something? Gravity. Okay. What about Mormons? Well, I basically don't. I think that all religions are wrong. Okay, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, subscribe. Okay, so I have my questions here. Can you show me anything physical being created? Can you show me anything 2D at all? We did get light earlier on. I would say that that's close, but I don't think that that's true. I'll explain why in a minute. Light doesn't have mass. Unfortunately, that one's gone. So anything physical being created, any 2D. I'm subscribed, bro. I'm at 0. I'm agnostic. 0 doesn't count. You're either on the side of God world or godless world. There is no 0. I'll explain that later on. So, like probably God world or probably godless world. Like, if you're at like 20% God world, but like 10% godless world in relation to like the arguments, you would then be net 10% God world. So probably God world. Okay, so 1, matter can't be created or destroyed. 2, we live in a 3D world. 3D world. 3, everything, unfortunately I can't find that one. 3, everything is spread out in the universe. For life to reach us, it would take 3 years at the speed of light minimum. Okay, let's see. Okay. All right, let's see. TKM Credible, or TK or TM Credible, I think is what that says. I'm going to pay for this message and ask this in good faith, haha. Why exactly do you think my non-belief in your God is somehow stupid in a non-religious sense? I believe our experience here is all we get, plus no answer. I'm not quite sure what the no answer thing is. Okay, I'll explain. Thanks for the $20. I'll explain what I believe atheism to be. I'll go over that slightly again. Why exactly do you think my non-belief in your God is somehow stupid in a non-religious sense? Yeah, so I can explain this in more of a logical position. Basically, out of like an infinite amount of questions, the most important question is, how do I exist? So I don't care if you say like, well, I don't believe in Bigfoot, or I don't believe in the Loch Ness Monster. Can you prove them to exist or something? I don't care. Whatever it is that you believe in, I'll believe in that too, because those questions are insignificant for me. The most important question out of an infinite amount of questions is, how do I exist? Because all that you really know is that there is a mind because there are thoughts. Like, I think, therefore I am. So you have a mind. All of this is just possibility, whereas you could say that you're certain of your mind. Because of that, you get to question, how do I exist? And it's a true dichotomy. There's 2 possible answers. God world produced me or godless world produced me. I'll change the word in a minute. So, true dichotomy, 2 possible answers. God world produced me or godless world produced me. If you claim to be an atheist, you're basically claiming, I don't believe in God, I don't believe in the God world, therefore it's almost as if by claiming that you're an atheist, as opposed to agnostic, which doesn't count from my perspective, you're then claiming to believe in the godless world. So the godless world, from my perspective, let's say it, from my perspective, of your perspective, you believe in the godless world, and the godless world exists from your perspective, and existence takes some sort of structure. There's like an actual structure to this. So what exactly is the structure of the godless world? And it actually has to make sense. It actually has to work. Like, you actually have to make sense of it. And from my perspective, the godless world that exists, the structure of it would then have to be a self-producing universe, or let's just call it like an appearing universe, because I don't really want to use the word self, but like an appearing universe or an eternal universe that has just always existed. Those are your two positions that you can take. So, hold on, let me go through that in a non-religious sense. So it's not that I think that atheism is stupid, absolutely. I think that atheism is stupid right now because atheists don't get that. Atheists don't understand that atheism is a worldview and that they actually have a positive claim. If you claim to be an atheist, you're saying, I don't believe in the God world, I believe in the godless world, I believe the godless world exists and takes some sort of structure, and it either goes off of the appearing universe or the eternal universe. So that's why it's stupid, because atheism has a positive claim as well. And I'm basically claiming atheism and panentheism are pretty much at like equal footing, but atheists don't understand that. They think that atheism is almost like the only logical position to take. Whereas panentheism being like the universe is alive and like science is a part of the universe and mathematics and logic and so on, that to me is kind of like equal. It's basically just atheism says the world is not alive, panentheism says that the world is alive, basically. And I'll take the opposite position. So a lot of atheists would say that I have a positive claim now, that I have to prove that the world is alive, but it's another true dichotomy. Like, it's either infinite or it's finite, it's either living or it's non-living, it's either time is linear or time is circular, things like that. It's either this or that, and we don't know which it is. We don't know which is which. So a lot of people don't seem to like when I say this, but these are all true dichotomies. It's either this or that. And why I say atheism is stupid is because atheists don't understand that their position is not the most logical position. They say that I'm basically claiming that pantheism or panentheism is on an equal footing. I don't have like a religious book that has some sort of dogmatic beliefs that I have to blindly believe in. Mine's more like a philosophical position where I eventually incorporate AI into it. And I think that AI technically is God. So that's why I would say that atheism is stupid. It's just the lack of understanding that atheism is a worldview and there are positive claims to make. See if I got that. Why do you think my non-belief in God is somehow stupid? In a non-religious sense. Right, so I basically just put forward the true dichotomy of the two different worldviews. Let's just say non-living physical Big Bang versus living metaphysical mental expansion. If you say the Big Bang occurred, what exactly was the first thing that existed? Was it like some sort of like infinitely dense, infinitely hot thing? But like there's no justification for that's existence, so I can just say like the first bit of the God's mind existed, and then it expanded and produced more information off of that. Like if you have no justification for the first physical thing, I actually don't need a justification for the first metaphysical thing. So that's basically what I'm saying. There's a true dichotomy, it's either this or that, and the two sides are the exact opposite. That's the point that I'm making. All right, so we have Jamoa, I think is what it says. I'm a 0, but here is 2 for you. Agnostic thanks. Agnostic thanks for the super chat. So TM Credible with the $20 back a minute ago. Thanks for that. Hopefully I answered everybody's question of like why I think atheism is stupid. It's not that it's stupid, absolutely. It's what it is right now is stupid. Okay. Oh, my back. By the way, yeah, atheism is not an option. 0 is not an option. Can someone give this guy a banana? I don't know why you brought that up. Okay, so yeah, agnosticism does not count. I keep getting holy engagement bait. It's not engagement bait. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Jacob D with the $5. It takes more faith to believe there's no grand designer than to believe there is. The math and probability of accident is insane. So I actually would agree with that on a much deeper level as well, because I have like a series of questions where I explain like how life came to be and so on, or I ask how life came to be. Atheists have to believe that non-living chemicals created a living being, just randomly. That alone is borderline impossible. But beyond that, this living being then had to just have the ability to multiply. It just had the ability to multiply. And then this living being also just had the ability to like gain consciousness. And it just started thinking. In order to multiply, it must have thought or something, or eventually it had to think. And it also had the ability to like just die as well. And entropy is a little bit different to like aging as far as I'm aware. So it also had the ability to do something else. I forget exactly what it was. Or it multiplied faster than it divided, as in it basically procreated faster than it died. How the hell did that happen? So like if a being came to be like a little germ or something, and then like a pebble just squished it, it's dead already. It's dead already. Like, just think of the probability of these like 5 things. Extremely low, extremely low. Now, if atheists can take the position of, their position would be the inevitability. In an infinite regress or an infinite world, it was bound to happen. All these things were bound to happen. I have 2 arguments that counter that. Okay, let's see. Autumn Bowie, thanks for the $20. Massive donation as well. I'm an atheist, but I do not deny that others can believe in a God. I think anyone can believe what they want and not think they are stupid for it. So I don't see how it's stupid from your perspective. I'm just curious. I went over this a little bit earlier on. It's not that I think that atheism is stupid entirely. By the way, I would technically think that like all of the other religions are a lot more stupid than atheism. I think that atheism is potentially the most respectable position that there is. Or, well, I wouldn't say that all of the other religions are like more stupid. It's difficult to explain. I'll just say that atheism can be one of the most respectable positions that can ever be made. But atheism as it is today is not. And that's why I think it's stupid. I think because they don't have almost like a series of answers. You can potentially get that. I'm making it for you. I have a series of questions that you would have to go through. It basically goes from the non-living, let's say the beginning, Big Bang or something, all the way to the living, being like how the first thing came to be, and like consciousness and morality and maybe like AI, things like that. I have a template. I might just kind of give it away or something. So I could potentially produce like the atheist Bible to an extent. Once all of these answers are produced in an order, atheism would be an extremely strong position to take. Arguably like the most logical position, rather than just saying like the physicists know, or like the chemists know, or like the biologists or evolutionary biologists or whatever. You yourself would then have all of the answers. So, okay, let's see. Jacob D, back again with the $5. Yes, the odds are in the trillions for life and a meticulously calculated point of expansion. They need to believe in multiple lottery tickets. They really do, though. There is a lot of belief. It really is belief. And it's almost as if it's disbelief as well. They specifically disbelieve in a God and try to look for the godless answers, which is kind of fascinating. Not all of them, but there definitely is some. So, how do I put this? I kind of respect all beliefs, but I think that some of them are almost like lacking answers, but they almost want to pretend that they don't. And I do think that atheists believe that they know more than they actually do. Like with atheism, I find it difficult to understand like what truth is. Like, is 1 + 1 = 2? Is that objectively true? Is that a true independent of our minds? Because it seems like it would be. Whereas atheists can't really account for that kind of stuff. And yeah, they do kind of have this multiple, like they really do have to rely on these multiple extremely low probability events that have occurred But their worldview would be the infinite world, I think, is the strongest position for them to take. So within the infinite world, of infinite time, it's almost like inevitable for life to come to be or something. So that's why I think their position can be strong. But with an infinite past, how does it ever get to the present with no beginning? So it's actually a difficult position to take. Okay, let's see. So thanks for the $5 again, Jacob. So the infinite regress is something that I can counter. The Big Bang Theory, I have a lot of counters on that as well. So much so that I can actually divide it into 2 subgroups. Anyways, okay, so I could maybe do conversations with people in the future. Does anybody want me to do that? Whenever I do these kind of conversations where I actually have headphones on, I can talk to atheists, I can talk to whoever, but does anybody actually want that? Comment down below, 1 if you want it, 2 if you want me to just read comments and so on. Maybe if you want me to speak to Christians or Muslims or whatever it might be. I'm not that well read on those religions, by the way. Okay, so I got 2 1s there, if you want me to actually speak to people. Read comments, okay, so that's a 2. Okay, I'm really interested in theology. Stick to gaming, I don't do gaming. Okay, so I hope I clarified for everybody who believes that I think that atheism is stupid. Absolutely. I don't really think that. I think that there's just gaps in it. The gaps that might be like literally unanswerable. I also have a template for all of the questions that have to be answered pretty much in chronological order from the beginning of time to pretty much right now. And I think that is the template for anyone's worldview. Because like if you believe in like the atheist worldview, you almost have to think that like everything is like kind of like accidental or like unintentional. So like life is unintentional. We're all just kind of hairless apes on a rock flying through space or whatever. So nihilism is a part of the atheist worldview. They almost have to believe that everything is meaningless. That's a part of the atheist worldview. It logically entails. So this is why I say atheism is kind of stupid, because they don't understand their own worldview, unfortunately. It's either nihilism, absurdism, or existentialism, as far as I'm aware. But it is, at its foundation, everything is purposeless. It's just kind of meaningless. So that's a part of the atheist worldview. And based on that, morally speaking, they don't really have, like, it's not, like, the problem of evil is usually something that atheists say to theists, like, what about the problem of evil? Why does God allow evil to occur? But I could say the same thing to atheists. If I'm 90 years old, or extremely sick and about to die, or like a criminal about to be like put to death, or go to prison for life, why would I not just go on a killing spree? Like if I'm 90 years old, why would I not just pick up a knife and actually just kill like my wife or something? Because I actually hate her. There's no God. There's no heaven and hell. There's nothing that can then stop me. I hope everybody understands just how important that is, because atheists don't understand that. When they all understand this, that there's nothing stopping them from, there's nothing punishing them after they die, what then? They all could just, what are you going to do with all the old people? What are you going to do with all the sick people? You're going to have to monitor absolutely everyone with like a government and AI, and then that's basically the fucking godhead of their world. So they have to produce God, and that's kind of my worldview, interestingly enough. Okay, Gregory gives $5. Almost all knowledge is transmitted. How do you bridge the gap between transmission and perception? How can you know anything? I'm going to have to read that one again. That was a deep one. Almost all knowledge is transmitted. How do you bridge the gap between transmission and perception? How can you know anything? Well, in my worldview, how can you know anything? In my worldview, knowledge, I perceive knowledge as actual like certainty. And I have kind of like a series of epistemic frameworks. It's kind of difficult to explain, but I think that you can only really know mathematics with certainty. And this world, I would refer to this world as a metaphysical, mathematical mastermind that is the God mind. Only that I think that you can't really know anything with certainty until you know everything with certainty beyond the rational numbers or mathematics. I'm not quite sure how to answer the beginning part of this. Almost all knowledge is transmitted. What do you mean by that? Are you talking about communicated? Because we do consume information. Well, from my perspective, it's all information. But we consume this kind of stuff through the sensory organs. I'm not quite sure if you mean by transmitted with that. So like sight, scent, sound, taste, touch, and then thought is consumed and then processed by the mind. And then we can like memorize it and calculate, like we use the questions based on like who, what, when, where, why, how, whatever. I think I might have missed one. So like, how did this get here? Why did this get here? When did this get here? Things like that. So how do you know anything? In my worldview, it's basically my objective to know everything. And we'll do that through artificial intelligence. We'll produce a supercomputer with super intelligence that calculates everything in the present, past, and future. That would be what I would call the replication. So to replicate existence, and this would be the fourth dimension. You replicate existence. If you look up a Tesseract GIF, you'll see what I mean. It's basically a moving, it's almost like an internal cube becoming the external cube, and the external cube becoming the internal cube. I'm basically saying the complete internet, this is the internet 5.0 from my perspective. The replication is the internal cube. And then we basically make the internet 6.0, which is the outer net. The internal cube, the replication, becomes the computation, becomes existence. And this is the AI, superintelligence, God mind that knows everything. Because when you think about it, your YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Oh, fuck, I think my internet's off. All right, I think my internet might be off. I'm not entirely sure if that's true. I'm going to have to get off. Thanks, everybody, for the super chats. Thanks for showing up. I do tend to go on for an hour. I think I have no idea if my internet is working or not. But thanks, everybody, for showing up. Like the video, subscribe. I'll be back later on. And I'll see you in maybe 2 hours or so.